like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Help me get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So I do movie, TV show reviews, talk entertainment news. I've got a lot of stuff to get to today. I gotta get to the Stargirl review. So we're gonna be reviewing Marvel's What If Episode 1. The positives, negatives. Is it trash? Is it gold? Is it something in the middle? Trashy gold. Talk about the positives, and then we'll get to the negatives. I, of course, will have timestamps down below, so you can skip right to that. There will be spoilers. Also, I did have to cut near the end because the audio started getting off. Let's get to it. So the positives on this one: characters sound and look as they should, delivered in very cinematic quality of animation. Peggy Carter, Howard Stark, Bucky Barnes, Nick Fury, Hawkeye, and so on, captured beautifully. Though Steve Rogers isn't Captain America, he's still a hero of the heart. It doesn't take away from his credibility or how important he is to the war effort. There's an interesting kind of Iron Man twist in there that makes you think, oh man, that would have been cool to do in live action, just slightly different. It captures a lot of key moments from Captain America, the first Avenger, that movie, playing them out differently, and because of one choice being different, it leads to other slight variations and just some cool little moments. It shines most when it's just Peggy and Steve. That's where the heart is. But the negatives, they're way more negatives than positives. While the animated style is cinematic, it just doesn't feel like MCU. It doesn't feel like the MCU. They should have figured out a way to do this in live action because it's really underwhelming. And Captain Carter herself, she doesn't go on tours, never becomes a public figure, so there's no real legacy to make the character memorable to the world, as memorable as Captain America, Steve Rogers, was to the world in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Peggy, much like Steve, disappears for decades and meets Nick Fury and Hawkeye later, but she never was a symbol. Doesn't have the reputation of Captain America, and it just feels shallow. And you've got Red Skull in here, who's just an idiot, wiped out by a monster he summons, and Captain Carter is just able to shove this monster back into the portal like it has all these tentacles. Could easily toss her to the side, toss her away, but it just allows itself to be manhandled for the sake of serving the narrative. Because the time it's set in, it has this social commentary. Women can't do this or that in a man's eyes. And let's face it, it's not just the time period. The time period's just an excuse to push that kind of talk. Disney and Hollywood support and influence the notion that women are still just as oppressed and discriminated against. Like there haven't been incredible strides made. Today's society isn't drastically different. It tries to be emotional and moving, but it's never earned. The story progresses aggressively fast. It's claustrophobic, condensed, abrupt. It doesn't feel earned in any avenue. Alright, the audio was getting pretty terrible, and echo got gradually worse and worse as I was going along. But as I was saying, the negatives, it's supposed to be set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but because it's an animation, you can do ridiculous things and forget, hey, you're still in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Maybe you shouldn't be launching Peggy Carter through a cockpit of an enemy fighter. Just going really out there on some of these things. But ultimately, overall, I can't really rate this on a scale from 1 to 10. I just didn't like it. It wasn't interesting to me. It would have been way more interesting had they done it in live action, had they actually gave Peggy a kind of legacy. They made her this buff She-Hulk. It's not, but it didn't take away from who Steve Rogers is as a person or anything. It's just really getting tired of the whole strong women, all that type of stuff that they aggressively push, and this doesn't really do anything for me because Peggy Carter was a great character even without this. Peggy Carter, her show was pretty good. At least the first season of Agent Carter was pretty good. This didn't really do anything for me. Had it been a live action, it would have done something for me. Had they tried to flesh it out a little bit more instead of making it just so aggressively fast in the manner that it progressed, it could have been better. But as a result, it being animation, supposed to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, doesn't really feel like it's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It just didn't do it for me. I'm not interested in it. I didn't like the voice acting of the Watcher either. I didn't think that fit. It didn't sound intriguing or mysterious enough. I didn't like it. It's as simple as that. If you like it, cool, awesome, glad you enjoyed it. Let me know what parts you enjoyed. If you didn't like it, let me know why you didn't like it. Stay awesome, rock on. I'll continue reviewing this.